It's difficult to answer this question in the abstract and in a general sense because everyone's specific circumstances are so different. And once again, I don't think it's very helpful to say suffering is good for these reasons, or let's look for the deeper purpose in suffering. It's very clear from Scripture and from the life of Jesus Christ more specifically that God doesn't like suffering. Whenever Jesus encounters suffering, he attacks it, he confronts it, and ultimately he defeats it. This God is not a God who likes suffering. It was never part of God's original plan that we suffer. He hates suffering. In fact, he stepped into the world as a person and gave of himself and went to a cross, all to destroy suffering once and for all, so that for eternity, people that are walking in relationship with him would not have to experience any suffering. We're told in Scripture that on the other side, there's going to be no more suffering, that he's going to wipe away every tear, that literally all of the bad things that happen will somehow, in some way, become untrue. And so what we should be telling each other and telling ourselves when we encounter suffering is not so much trying to deconstruct the reasons for it, but more importantly, to look upwards and to look outwards as to what we are called to do in the midst of suffering. And that is very, very clear. The Bible is very clear on that. It is quite simply that we are called to grow closer to each other, to grow closer to God, and to reflect on the more important, deeper things in our life when we are suffering. So every element of suffering, yes, is an opportunity to feed more into our purpose from God, to grow in relationship with him and grow closer to those around us. But that's not just the case for suffering. Every success is an opportunity to fulfill those purposes too. Every trial, every tribulation, every success, every joy, every sorrow, every struggle, every experience, everything we do in everyday life is an invitation, implicitly or explicitly, to walk in our purpose, the purpose for which God has made us. And so it's not just a question of suffering. It's also about us wanting to, every day we wake up in the morning, wanting to be everything that we are made to be. And ultimately, that's a question of walking in relationship with God and walking well in relationships with those around us as well.